If you are still sending clients a rate sheet that says $250 per hour, $15 per hour, this video is for you. You are about to change how you think about your business entirely. Hourly pricing is quietly keeping you broke, undervalued, and burned out. And I'm about to show you a better way to do it. Welcome back to the Art of Virtual Assisting with me, Stephanie Lopepe, your host and the founder of Virtually Steph. So please do not forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Let's help improve this channel. Let's help grow this platform. All right. So you are not a task doer. You are a strategic business partner, but the way you're running your business tells your clients otherwise. Today, we are breaking down how you can move from hourly billing to packaged services in order to attract high-paying clients and create some form of predictable income. So the first thing that you are going to note is that hourly pricing is working against you. I know I've always said that as you start as a task-based virtual assistant, it would make sense to start an hourly rate, right? Because you're first trying to figure out what will be your niche, how much would you be charging for specific services, and how long it's taking you to complete a specific task for a specific industry or a specific business, right? So that all is still true. However, I would encourage you to only do that for the first 90 days. Let's say the first 3 months, even to push the first 4 months, right? Because you want to quickly leave the hourly packages, right? Why? Because when you are in the hourly rate space, right? Every time you charge per hour and you're good at what you do, you make less, because it takes you a shorter time to complete a task, right? Let's take, for example, a client makes the assumption that a task will take you 10 hours to complete it. But because you are good at what you do, that task took you 4 hours to complete, right? You actually can't bill the extra 6 hours because you didn't do anything in that extra 6 hours. So that is the disadvantage of hourly billing, right? Because the better you get at doing something, the less you earn, right? So a client is paying for an outcome, especially high paying clients. They want the outcome, right? So they don't care about the hourly bill. So you just have to package yourself a lot better. If you know that something would take you a shorter time to complete, you cannot tell the clients that you're on an hourly rate. You have to give the client a package in order to complete that specific project or task. Okay. So what would a package actually look like, right? So instead of you saying 10 hours for admin support will cost you X and Y, why don't you repackage that 10 hours and say exclusive administrative support? This is what it will cost you, right? Because you could actually, your packages could be something that is 10 hours. Yes, it could be a low tier package. You have something in the middle and something that will cost a lot more money. And in there, let's say administrative support, which is the example we gave. In the low tier, you could say inbox management, email support, and calendar coordination, right? That would be the low tier, right? And then in the middle, you could add on top of that weekly reports, right? You could add on top of that. And then in the high tier, you could add on top of that research, proposal drafts, etc., right? So you are not going to say 10 hours, 15 hours, 20 hours, right? You're just going to name them properly, right? You name them properly, and then you give an estimate of what your skill is for those particular packages, not how long it will take you to complete a task. Because you know, when you manage a client's administration, they have better response with their customers. They have better response with their suppliers. Things get to move fast. So you know the work that you do has a positive outcome for their business or for your client's business. So why would you charge hourly, right? Charge for the outcome of the work that you are doing. All right. So how to price your different packages? So you're gonna have to use, like I said, if you're going to do hourly, do it for the first 90 days because you wanna use that data to inform what your packages will be charged like, right? So you would know that if I offer a client an executive admin support that is high tier, that clients, this is the outcome they would get, right? So maybe your low tier will probably be, let's say, it's an entry level 10,000 rand an hour. In the middle, you could do 15 or 12 to 15. And then high tier, you could do 18 to 20, right? So each different pricing has a different outcome because those outcomes are a result of a problem you are solving, right? So you need to figure out, what is the problem I'm solving? Are you an aspiring virtual assistant who's looking for real-time data on the virtual assistant space, what to offer, what systems to put in place? Or are you a beginner virtual assistant wanting to grow beyond the task-based virtual assistant work to strategy to business operation support? I would encourage you to click the link below and book your consulting sessions today. I have over 4 years experience in being a virtual assistant and over 10 years experience in the administrative space. So I am the right person that you need to guide you in the next step. So click the link below and I look forward to connecting with you very soon. So once you figure out what's the problem you are solving for them, you need to ask yourself, what would it cost my clients if this is not done? So that's one of your sales objection script you can have. If a client doesn't want to pay for X and Y, what would happen if X and Y is not done, right? Once you position yourself in that way and you show the value of your work, the value of the task that you're about to do for your client, it is easier to sell the package and not the hourly rate, right? And then you know yourself that the work that I'm doing has a specific impact in my client's business. So you price to that. You're not pricing, oh, I spend an hour to do this. No, I spend an hour researching on a specific proposal, and that proposal brought 500,000 to a client. So best believe I'm not charging 250 Rand an hour. I mean, hello. So you gotta figure out, the bigger the problems you are solving for a client, the better you communicate that to the clients, the better you are going to charge for it. All right. So how do you then present it to a client? Because a lot of the time, especially for entry level virtual assistant, clients already make assumptions that you are on an hourly rate. And I remember the clients will approach me and be like, hey, what is your rate, right? And then for the first 2 years of my business, it made sense for it to be hourly rate. And that's, guys, I love to teach from my mistakes. Like, I should have not stayed hourly rate for 2 years straight, right? I should have moved to packages a long time ago. All right. So that's why I want you guys to learn from my mistakes, right? That you need to learn fast, gather the data, and make the changes that you need to make. And I only moved to packages 2 years ago, right? Because I realized that I'm making more work for myself, right? But the results of my work has a bigger impact on the company, and I'm the one losing at the end. That's why I moved to packages and showing the client the outcome of my work and the direct impact it has in their business, right? That's what you do. So you tell your client that I don't bill hourly. I work in the outcome-based packages where if we implement this for your business, if we do certain things, we make certain changes, this is the outcome that would happen, right? And this is why we are charging X and Y. If you are charging an executive admin support package of 15,000 Rand, right? And you probably complete those tasks in less time than what the client anticipates. The client is not trying to monitor your hours. No, the client needs to see the transformation of their business through your work. The moment a client told me that they made more business with me on the team, The goal, I was not even making the goal, oh, my client needs to make more business. No, I was just trying to build credibility for my clients. I was trying to make life easy for them. We're trying to build consistency with the business page, etc. And the outcome of all of that is that the client was making more money. And I know that me and the client work better together than to bring an agency in, because we did try an agency and we lost money with the agency on the team. So you can show that to your client that if we do X and Y, you will have X and Y. And this is why you need to make this investment, right? High paying clients are not stingy, right? They're not stingy. They just want the work done. They just want the transformation. And if you can put a number to that investment, you will make real money. All right. Now it is time for the virtual assistant insight segment. And today's question is, do I need a contract if I'm doing packages? Right. And my answer is yes, regardless, right? You need a contract whether you're doing hourly rates or you're doing packages, right? Contracts is just a mutual understanding between the client and the service provider, which is you, the virtual assistant, on expectations on payment, expectations on the job description, expectations on outcomes, expectations on communication, like what are the boundaries on how they communicate with you, etc., etc. And that contract needs to exist, whether it is your first 30 days of a virtual assistant, like your first 30 days in the industry, or whether it's your third year in the industry. You need to always have a work agreement, a work contract with your clients. And with packages, what it does is that it restricts your clients to add more work that is outside the scope that was agreed, right? Contracts, yeah, NDA, what. But for virtual assistants, sometimes when a client can see that you're good at something, they start to add more to your plate. And some clients can be sneaky because it's not in writing. They'll just add it to your plate and not increase the payment. So a contract protects you. So whatever is not in what was mutually agreed and there's no amendment, you cannot do the task outside of that. Sometimes maybe you want to do it to create an impression. You want to show them what you can do. But when you can see that it has worked, the good impression has been made, you can have the new discussion and have a new work agreement. So contracts, packages, and hourly rate, it doesn't matter, right? So when I shifted from hourly rates to packages, it became a turning point for my business, right? And I remember, I believe I lost one client and I had two accounts with them because I was no longer doing hourly rate. I was doing packages, right? And at first it really stank because I felt like the client wanted the best out of me without having to pay for it, right? And I realized, no, everything that I'm doing for this client could just be a package and I could actually earn more. And the client refused to do that. And I lost that client. However, every client that came afterwards was such a blessing, right? I started I landed my first $1,000 client. I landed my first business operations client. I just started to attract and draw in clients that actually have the revenue to invest in my services, right? So I encourage you, take 90 days, do the hourly package. However, use that data and start to build your services, start to build your retainer packages, right? So that will be my encouragement for you. And I'd like for you to comment below. What is your current pricing model? Is it currently working for you? Is it not currently working for you? And let's have a discussion. And I think let's help each other, because I believe there are some people who have immediately gotten into packages without even doing the hourly rate. How did you do that? Let's share in the comments below. Do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.